we're going to zoom in a little bit. See, I think we're good like that. I remembered to put the phone on the tripod the right way today. Morning, morning, everyone. Good morning, Jackie. Excuse me while I yawn, my apologies. Oh. Trying to rearrange my sleep schedule. I've been sleeping in, oh my gosh, till 7:30. Oh, I want to start sleeping in until 6:30 and getting to bed a little bit earlier. All right. Looks good. I hope everyone can hear me well, and I hope everyone's having a great October. It is cooling down in Arizona. Now, of course, cooling down in Arizona does mean, 85 degrees, but oosh, it gets down into, I guess, the 60s or so at night, and it's been gorgeous. Like, you can go outside during the daytime. 85 in this part of Arizona in the valley, I guess we're in the West Valley, is just absolutely gorgeous. Thanks, Jackie. I appreciate that. I'm just going to ramble a little bit. I like to wait till about 5 minutes after 11 to make sure everyone has a chance to come in. Those of you that do the notifications from YouTube or the email, which is down below in the description box, you guys get a little bit of a head start. And then anyone who's just waiting for 11 o'clock, we like to give them time to come in. Hi, Susan from Maine. All right, isn't this gorgeous? Someone sent me this fabric. There's some salvage on it with partial names that I gotta calm down, Robin. You gotta stop being so loud. Well, at least you guys can adjust my volume, right? I get a little excited on live streams. I get a little loud. I'm used to having to talk loud during the videos so that they can be heard well, and then I adjust the volume. But with a live stream and a microphone, you guys don't need it as much. But yes, I've been hoarding this fabric. Someone sent me their scraps. I think it's so adorable. Today is actually I don't want to say nail in the coffin or the straw that broke the camel's back, because whatever the good part of that is, this finalized an idea that's been brewing in my head that just didn't fully form. And after seeing this fabric and working with it this morning, I know exactly what I want to do going forward in my Etsy shop. Kind of formulating a little bit for YouTube still, but I know which way I want to go. I've been kind of tinkering all over the place. I'm zeroing in on my shop's identity. I'm always kind of like floating in and out of scrappy and quirky, and I'm just gonna stick with what works for me and what I enjoy making, and then I'll push it out to the customers, and hopefully everyone will find something they like. But these sheeps are adorable. Let me show you the main fabric. I gotta get a drink. Sorry for drinking on a video. I know it's not the best, most pleasant sound, but it could be worse. So this is, I would consider this the panel of the fabric. It has that, oh, turn it the other way, Robin. Be professional. It has the rolling hills with the sheep napping on it. I never noticed at first, but it has the bees and the flowers. For the back of the zipper pouch today, I cut from the big piece that was going this way. I don't know what might have been at the top of this fabric. I haven't looked it up yet. This is World of Susie B. Susybeee. World of, oh, here we go. I got it. Let's see. There. World of Susie B for Hamel Textiles. I'm not sure I've ever heard of Hamel Textiles. There are so many fabric manufacturers, really, it's hard to keep up. So this is what we're working with. I've been hoarding this sometime back in Florida. I don't know who sent this to me. I kind of let it come in and out of my mind and I don't remember. I don't mark and separate the fabrics like, you know, Jackie sent me this and Susan sent me that because you guys are in the chat. So I'm going to use your names. Thank you very much. And I just put it all into my stash and I go with it. But this is adorable and I was waiting for the perfect time to use it. It's just too cute. The person who had this fabric before me, as I was going through, I realized this is something I wanted to pull out. I have the pattern for, if you guys have been here for a while, that wallet that has this shape on it and the back comes down to the front and you put a little snap there. I think this is what they were working on because it has the different shapes for the pouch. Now I could be wrong, but I think that might have been what they were doing. And I have that pattern somewhere here. I purchased it in Florida. It's here. I've seen it in this house, so it's not packed away still in the garage. I just haven't come across it again. I'm going to be doing some rearranging this month, and I hope to find it again. But this is what I'm doing. I'm just going to sit here and play a little bit while we're working on everything. I have the panel, the blue, the green. There was a white with their faces on gray, and then a pink and a light green. So these are the fabrics that I have. So I don't know what other colors they were, but this would fall under the novelty fabric category, and I think novelty fabrics, a lot of times we think of kids and stuff like that, but I think these are just adorable, and I don't think they're full on novelty. I do have sheep fabric, but it's not as fun, and it's a gray background, so I brought out these fabrics for the linings. I like this one. I like this one. This one's probably the wrong green, and I probably won't use it, but I like to pull all the fabrics out for the lining. And then as I get working on it, and it's sitting there and I can stare at it for a while and go, do I like that? Will that work? And then I can decide, 100% if that's what I want. So I have a question as people start coming in. Pumpkin patches. I think we have a couple pumpkin patches here. I'm not going to go to a pumpkin patch. I don't want a pumpkin. And I just don't want to be the person that wanders around and looks at pumpkins and doesn't get anything. And without having like a sidekick, it's not as fun. Oh, yeah, Jackie, I'm getting ready to pull out all of my winter stuff. I've been opening my bedroom window in the morning, and I would leave it open even now because the AC is not running that much. The AC in the house is set at 76, and my bedroom right now is 74. It gets down to about 72 overnight, which when you put your bare feet on the tile floor feels chilly, but it's not cold. But I do have a flannel shirt that I keep for during the summer that I put on and take off and put on and take off, so I never know. But I can't leave my bedroom window open all day like I want. The AC is turned on once this morning, and it's 11 a.m. But if this were my bedroom window, let me see. If this were my bedroom window and we're looking out this way, the AC is literally right here. If I took the screen out, I could just go like this and touch the AC unit, and it's very loud. I got the maintenance guy to come out. This is a rental, so that was a bit of a struggle, but we got the maintenance guy to come out. There was a couple things wrong with the AC unit, but not the horrible noises that it makes. It makes a lot of noise, and it makes a variety of them. That's why I thought there was something wrong with it. It goes clunk, 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 boom, and then it goes like it's letting all of the air out of its lungs, and it sounds like it's dying. He's like, yeah, that's normal. I'm like, I don't know why our AC is different in Arizona than Florida, because that's not normal. That's all I gotta say is that's not normal. All right, so we have our sheepies here, and I have them separated. I went and I trimmed them. Some of them still are a little, I didn't want to cut off his head, right? I just couldn't do it. So I left a couple of these are a little bit off in shapes, and then I tried to cut most of them so that they had straight edges and they were rectangle. And that's not that this is the specific pouch, but I put them on those two pieces of batting. And then these, there's a lot of this style. I mean, if I cut it into squares and rectangles, I'm just gonna have a piece of green fabric, right? So this fabric has a lot less sheep than like this fabric. So this one's just a little bit calmer. Hi, Ellen. Now, Ellen's in a colder place than us. Ellen, do you have all your winter stuff out now? I have to phase into it because it's still, as I said, it's in the 80s. So what, the house feels cool because the house is in the shade. I'm looking out my window right now, and I would say 20 feet from the house is still in deep dark shade. The sun won't come all the way up to the house until probably 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I do have that big porch on the back of the house. It's an open porch, so it doesn't really hit this room very much. Usually in the afternoon, the sun will come all the way in the summer to the other side, like where I am right now, so that I can take pictures and stuff. In the winter, I'll definitely have to bring out the big light to take pictures for Etsy and stuff. Ellen, you just got here. Look at the fun fabric someone sent me a couple years ago. This is so cute. I have a couple pieces like this. So this is a big piece. I want to see if maybe I can turn this one into a tote bag. But there are some smaller pieces that can still be used. And then there's still even more little bits. So this would have to be something like this and maybe built out a little bit. And then I have, ooh, house temperature right now in my room is 74. The rest of the house is 76. So I figure it's got to be pretty cold or getting cooler where you're at. I shouldn't say pretty cold because, you know, we're getting into winter. And then this has got to be from like this section. Like I said, I don't know what was on the top. This might have gone all the way up. But I have little bits that I can use to incorporate into our pouches. I didn't get rid of any of the little bits yet because I thought that with the pieces that are really weird angles and stuff, that I can use these bits to finish it off. Like this one, these I'm going to put aside. I don't want to use these if I can help it. Make sure nothing's attached. Oh, we gotta leave the cute sheep looking at us though. Fold it properly. I quilted all of the backs. Well, I quilted the backs for 3 zipper pouches because I'm guessing that I can get 3 zipper pouches out of what I have going on here. So this one I'm going to save and see if I can turn it into that wallet at all. I don't want to use that one either. But I can use this. And then I have these little bits that are just in cases. There's like the butt of a sheep. There's a little bit of the blue. And just a couple little pieces as a just-in-case situation. So let me put this over here. So we have 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to make all 3. Well, I'm going to make all 3 today, but I won't make all 3 with you. I did quilt the backs hoping to be able to get some zipper pouches actually made today. Yeah, I'm always curious about what they made originally. So for this part, I'm pretty sure, I'm just guessing, but this looks like that wallet that I was making where you put the pockets here and this would fold over. Ellen, you've been here long enough, you might remember. Hi, Tracy. Oh, glad to keep you company while you're working on something. And then there was this piece here. But if you did this, they would end up being upside down. So I'm not sure, but that's the shape. This would be the lining. So this would be like this, and then that would fold over, and then it would need the pockets. So I'm saving that until I get that pattern, and I find it in the house here somewhere. But I have all of these bits. I'm not going to throw them away. They're too cute. So for this one, I thought there's a lot of white on the back. So I did go ahead and I cross hatch quilted it 1.5 inches apart like I like. And I used a very pale pink to match the flowers. And I did that on all three. There's a couple pieces where there's a little bee, but it's always on the edge and it's not going to be saved. It's going to get lost in either the seam allowance or the zipper, but that's okay. I just took the weird bits, I put the batting down and cut down the shape that I wanted, the size, and then where it landed is where it landed. I couldn't be overly picky. Now for this pouch, I decided I want to go, oh, and you know, this is the best time, Tracy, is to do, I like to put on a live stream and not chat with anyone. And then I know in that time frame, because it's live, so because it's live, you can pause a live stream, obviously. But I tell myself, I can't pause the live stream. I have to sit here and work on this project. And it just feels like a good time to get things done. I might not be making what they're doing. Maybe they're knitting and I'm sewing. And that's fine. So I use that time frame to get things done. And I find I get more things done that way. I cut the batting about 10 by 7. I want my pouch to be 9.5 by 6.5. You have to excuse my voice. As the seasons change, it really messes with my asthma and allergies. I've taken all kinds of meds this morning, so hopefully it'll go away. Let me try a drink. If you've been here for a while, you guys know the voice does weird things. So this one, the batting's larger, and like I said, this is about 10 by 7 so that I can trim it down. I noticed that the crosshatch quilting like this at 1.5 inches apart doesn't really shrink my fabric down that much, which is a good thing. And always be careful with cotton batting because that'll happen. All right, I'm not going to trim these. I'm going to put it over here with the lining. Hi, Gwen. How are you doing? I hope you are having a nice weekend. Well, let me do my thing, please, if you don't mind. Welcome to everyone. I'm so glad you're here and you're chatting. And I want to really welcome all of the little lurkers that are hanging in the background just listening to us. I forgot the name lurker. That it happens. Sorry. But all the lurkers that are just like me that like to hang in the background of the live stream, you know everything that's going on and all the people that are joining, but we never see you because you're busy doing your thing. And I love you for it because, again, I do the same thing. I think I want to make my first pouch and I want to use all the colors. So I'm going to do that thing where I lay it out again. Now this one, maybe it'll just be, where's my ruler? Pardon me. I have my 9.5 square ruler so that I can kind of, well, I guess it really doesn't matter because the batting is the right size, Robin. Let me put that over here out of the way. So I want to try to keep it about that size. These are a little bit short, so maybe I might need to put something down on the bottom. I'm just playing around and guessing at what I might be able to do. Maybe I could put this guy in the center. Maybe put him like that. And then I can have some of these weird pieces. Because with these strange pieces like this, hi Janice. Oh, you're never late. Robin's always rambling and you never know what's going on anyway. So if this were off to the side, and then this maybe went like that, and then because I have these pieces that I thought if I needed to with the weird pieces like this, that something like this could come in and maybe, you know, fill it in somewhere in between bits. Because these pieces, they're not like waste, obviously, but they're not being used anywhere. Because I wanted to, oh, I like this one too. Because I wanted to get the back pouch quilted ahead of time in case we get to the point where we can actually make a pouch today and finish it versus just the front. You're home. Oh, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. That is a huge deal. You should celebrate. That is a big deal. So we'll put that there. Maybe we put some of the pink eye on the bottom. I like to overlap about 1/2 of an inch. That way I know I have plenty of room. I think this bit up here is going to be a problem. So I'm going to take my little ruler and I'm going to square off the top, because too many angles it can be more difficult with the style that I do to get it to work. See, now this way, it's flat across the top. It's still a little weird piece there. Like this one, I might need to straighten out a little bit, but I could... I think that'll be fine. We'll figure that out in a minute. And then that's long enough. I just have to be careful. I just don't want to put white across the top, right? Hi, Audrey. Welcome, welcome. You made it. I knew today was going to be a little bit more of a problem because I didn't have these all set up ahead of time. And I do have this piece of fabric that I can still take bits and pieces from. I'd like one pouch to have a little bit of everything and then go from there. I could just move everybody up and put them like that. And then some of the weird pieces can still... See, I don't want to... The whole thing right there is that sheep is in a weird spot, right? So maybe I need to add... that flower on, and just in that weird... I'm going to do that. I'm just going to play... Oops, I need to change my thread to white. I'm going to play, and whatever happens, happens. And if I lose pieces, it's going to be okay, because it's scraps, right? These pieces were just sitting in the stash and not being used. Do I sound distant? Am I on? Oh, I'm not plugged in. Oh my goodness, people. You are 100% right. I plugged in the mic on my shirt and not on my... Oh my goodness. Let's try this. Jackie must be really good, whatever she's watching it on. How is that? Is that better? Gwen, tell us, is that a little bit better now? Yeah, I've done this before. I've worn a mic for the whole video and not plugged it into my phone. It's crazy. Hopefully plugging it into the phone. Okay, excellent. There we go. I have been looking at, I did the new tripods and I got the little thing for the car. That all came in yesterday. Everybody's charged up and ready to go for the next, whatever I do with them. I got to get white thread while I'm talking. But I do have wireless mics, but because they changed the USB to USB and all of that, I need to buy an adapter for it. And I've been going back and forth, and the good financial thing to do would be just to see, I had to see the prices, right? See how much it would cost just to get the USB adapter, which should only be like $5 to $10. So that's the smart financial way to go. There's this microphone that I've had my eye on, and that costs more. It's just like buying a whole new microphone. It does cost $100. And I think it's better for now, get the dust off, to just do that. And then when they start doing the Black Friday sales and stuff, then I will watch for that microphone to go on sale, because I got all these tripod things and stuff on sale. I sold my old iPhone because I'm not using it, so there's no point in having it. So I sold that, and I used that money to purchase something for, you know, the business. So I have a couple of things coming up. I know, I mean, it's boring business stuff, but I think sometimes it's important to discuss different things, you know, like how things go and what people are doing and how, because what if you have a small business and you're wondering the same thing? The investment to purchase a new mic, it's not that important. There are just these really cool things that look like a quarter and you put it on your shirt and you put a magnet on the inside of your shirt and there's no wires or anything and it has an amazing sound. So it's really important to have good sound when you're doing stuff like this, but at the same time, let's see, what number do I want? 5.5. At the same time, the sound isn't horrible. See, that's about the same thing. It's like, should we buy a new sewing machine? Do we need a new sewing machine? No, we don't, but we want one. I have looked at some of the brother sergers and stuff. I've had my eye on them too. I have no need for a serger. It's just something that I've always wanted. And it's one of those things that could make, you know, 20 things a year easier. Would I do more with a serger? Probably. That's when I would start doing the reusable paper towels and stuff. Sergers can be scary, they said, but you know what, Audrey, you spent that much money on something that you wanted. I'm going to flip this over because it's such a big piece. I want to just see the green where I'm sewing. I say pull it out and play with it. Watch some videos and then go ahead, because that's what you got it for, right? You bought it for whatever it is that you needed it for. I say go ahead and use it. And then if you don't do it right the first time, I don't know, get a nice tea, get a glass of wine, and I say try again, because it takes a few times, right? Anything new takes a few times. And then, Jackie, you can always go over there and use it when you need it, right? When I was making kids' clothes, a serger would have been helpful. Now there's a few things like I like to we'll say surge, but on my sewing machine, like overcast around when I do the pole cozies. If you remember that one video I showed you on a little mini quilt and how zigzagging all the way around will compress it, I took that really fat batting and I did the zigzag stitch around and it helped compress it. So it wasn't perfect when I went to sew the bowl cozies together and all, but it was really helpful to have that seam serged. Oh, that's nice, Jackie. You're all set. You're all set. When it comes to something that's over $25, I like to sit and think on it for a little bit. Unless I absolutely know that it's something I need, then, you know, you get what you have to get. But if I'm just thinking about a big purchase, and yeah, anything over $25 in my head can be considered a big purchase, because I'm going to have to trim this a little too. Because, you know, $25 nowadays is not a lot of money, but it's still a significant amount. And for me, that just means it's something worth sitting. Oh, there goes the AC now. Worth sitting and waiting on to make sure it's something that I will go ahead and use. So I will sew this. This is a lot of weird angles. Normally we do quilt as you go, and apparently I'm not doing that today. I had every intention of quilting as I went, but apparently I changed my mind. And that's what you can do. If you don't like the whole quilt as you go technique, you can do it like this. You're going to end up with the same thing in the end. I'll just do the crosshatch quilting across the whole thing, or I could go through and individually sew the seams so that it's like top stitched, but we'll see. Maybe the next one I'll do like these fabrics that are already in rectangle shape. Those are easier to do, but I kind of don't think. Oh, grandkids. I kind of thought that's what you might have meant. because I know how it is. And even if you type everything properly, the auto stuff tends to change things up. I don't know why it'll do silly things like that, just to make us talk about it, I guess. I have on the other side here of the table, because I have the tripod where I keep the iron, and I have all of this stuff on the table. I have 2 Rubbermaid tubs that I keep some things in here that I'm trying to sort through. Next to the table with an ironing station on it, I just keep going over here and ironing where you can't see me. My apologies for being rude, but if you know, you know. It's just one of those things, and that's how it goes. So I have that. Now there's a little bit there that could be an issue, but if I put a piece of fabric, what have we got? We don't have any blue. I don't mind putting more green in. Let me see what what's this one? So if I put a piece so that it kind of goes like that and covers that little discrepancy. Let me see if you can see right there, that little bit of batting that's showing. Now remember, I have a 1/2 inch of wiggle room on here anyway, but I can take this, let me lay it over. I will lose some of that flour, but I think that works. I'll lose some of the sheep, I'll lose some of the flour, but this is a whole Scrappy thing. 25 is definitely a thoughtful purchase, 100%. I budget everything like down to the pennies sometimes, just to make sure there's either extra for a just in case or you get what you need. I went a little crazy this month, and I just spent $300 grocery shopping, guys. That's a lot of money for one person. But I wanted to do some meal prep and make sure I had things. So now going into November and then probably December, because of Thanksgiving, we'll have a turkey. I won't need to buy very many groceries. So my monthly groceries are usually around $150 to $200, but that includes cat food, which is $25 a month, kitty litter, $25 a month. So all of those different things. I want to try something else over here. I think I like that one. I'm going to lose that sheepy. What we got? What we got? What we got? Let's see what we have for fun over here. That's the one I want. So I'm going to slide this up so that, because it's all green up here, there's nothing to see. I want this line here. I'm going to need to straighten this up afterwards because it's kind of going like this. I want to kind of straighten it up. So I want to make sure there's enough under his feet to straighten it up and have a 1/4 inch seam going. So I will lose some of the flour. That's inevitable. Anyways, I'm going to lose some of the flour. So let me do that. Double check the 1/4 inch. So I'll just sew based on this green piece on top. Yes, I live with my adult children, and they do their own grocery shopping and their own cooking and stuff like that. I tend to, because I have my cats and then my daughter's cats, so I tend to purchase things for the cats and just take care of everybody all at once. And I kind of keep the house tidy because it's important to me and nobody else, and I do the dishes, sweep and mop the floors and stuff like that. I don't go overboard because it's not just me in the house, and just because I'm mom doesn't mean, you know, I should take care of everything. I can throw that away. Let me take this over and iron it. I don't need a lot for food-wise, but because of my milk and soybean allergy, I have to buy some vegan foods. So everything's like $5, $5 for this and $5 for that. Dairy-free items tend to cost more, and you get less in the package. It's kind of crazy. The boys, my youngest is 20, 26, and my daughter is 34, and my oldest is 37. And they, yeah, you know, they're adults. They lived on their own before I moved in, so they can take care of themselves. I'm going to find a spot to line up on the bottom-ish and kind of, oh, I don't know. Let me see what this looks like. So yeah, we do our own cooking and food prep, and I'm in the master bedroom, so I buy my own toiletries and stuff. So that includes like toilet paper and shampoo and toothpaste. Yeah, see, gluten-free, that's very expensive. Hi, Laura. When you have some type of a special diet, it just makes everything more expensive, doesn't it? I'm going to save this piece up in this pile as a just in case. I doubt that I'll need it, but I have it there. But I bought, cantaloupe was on sale, so I bought a cantaloupe, and thank goodness it was nice and ripe and juicy and soft. So I was eating that last night before bed. It was a great little snack. Now I need to see, do I want to have some of the flowers going in the middle? I don't really want to lose too much trimming up on the sheep. So let's see what we have. I didn't trim. Can you see how this kind of goes diagonal? I was a little nervous to trim it straight across, but I really should to help keep it. Let's do that. Lined up. The sheep face, they're just going to have to go away. I can't help it. Yeah, so now I'm going to make a bunch of freezer stuff. I bought like, I don't know, 5 pounds of stew meat at Sam's Club, so that was a bit. And during the wintertime, they have, I love ginger ale, and they have a holiday pack at Sam's Club. You get like 2 6-pack, you get 36 cans of soda, and it's cut into 3. So a third is just regular ginger ale, then it has raspberry, and then blackberry. And you can only buy it between now and Christmas, and sometimes it sells out before then. So my goal was to buy 3 36 packs before the season was out, and that'll last me months and months into the year. So I did that. Again, you know, it all adds up, right? So we have that. What if we have pink and blue? And that would put me at 5 1/4. Now I could stop there and have a little pouch, but I want to keep going. I could just add, see the flowers, they're not lining up, of course. So that makes it difficult. Ooh, what about a green pasture on the bottom? Because this is just the selvages. Oh, I like that. Now all the sheep are out in the fields. It's practically like living alone anyways. My son Justin works 5 a.m. and my son Robbie goes to work at 2 in the afternoon. So there's a lot of time in the day that it's just me here anyways. Plus if I'm in my room and they're in their rooms, we don't really use like the living room. There's a community space, but nobody uses it because we all have our bedrooms set up like mini apartments. Make sure no sheep are going upside down. It has definitely been an adjustment, and I would 100%, live on my own again. But right now, financially, this is the best option for all of us. We help each other out by splitting the bills. Let me sew these two together. I'm not even going to trim off the selvages on the bottom. I will line them up. Well, these pieces look like they were cut even anyway. So once again, we're doing a Scrappy zipper pouch, but we're doing it a little bit differently. And now I'm paying a little bit more attention to the designs that are on the fabric. I can't help. I have to cut off some sheep heads, but That's where I bought them from Sam's Club, and I don't get out either. I have them delivered. I have Sam's Club Plus or whatever it is, and I have Walmart Plus. So I have everything delivered, and then when I want to go to a store, I can just wander around and pick up a couple special things and not my groceries. I try to do grocery shopping once to twice a month. Once a month just is just not enough for everything because I usually need to get some fresh fruit or something. And I try to make as many things as I can. Oh, Walmart. I did not see it at Walmart. It's possible. You might be able to get the 6-packs, but I don't know if you'll be able to get the 36-pack. Now, I know you can get 2 liters and stuff, but even the full cans of soda can be too much. I like the little pony cans, but they don't have it in that kind of a situation. So let me put this together. A 2 liter, I can't drink the whole thing before it goes flat. I'll put the shorter piece, the narrower piece on top just to make it easy, and I will be throwing away the little bits, so I won't worry about that. I'm not using like a little scrap of fabric at the beginning and end. I'm just being wild and crazy today. Some days I just don't want to deal with it. I know Publix has the 2 liters, and I know Fry's has the 2 liters because Justin goes out every week. He's out grocery shopping right now. He doesn't know what he wants to eat every week, so he definitely does. He tries to find things that are on sale every week, and if the package is large enough, he'll take the extra and put it in the freezer because he meal plans for 5 or 6 days, and then on Sunday he might not have leftovers, so he'll go in the freezer and get that one little package of shredded pork that's left over, and he'll put it on like a baked potato or make a quesadilla. Right now I make pizza. I make like 4 pizzas, but then because it's in the freezer and I know it's an easy thing to eat, I'll eat pizza every day for one of my meals. So there's no pizza left, but I like the chicken sausage that's pre-cooked and it has like apples in it. So I have that with like peppers and onions and vegetables over rice in the freezer. I find the minute rice freezes better than making my own rice. Plus, I've tried so many times, I just can't make my own rice. So I just buy that 5-minute rice package and, cook whatever amount I want. I made 4 loaves of bread this week. Gave one to Justin for garlic bread because he made homemade lasagna. Look at this crafting channel talking about food. I think I'm hungry. But I like to get tips and tricks and ideas from other people. So, I'm tired of sometimes of having the same food all the time. Let's see, I need 9.5 by 6.5, but it can be different if I need it to be. Okay, so this one is going to be probably 9.25 by 5.75. It doesn't have to be perfect. I could put, what I could do is I can move this down and have it there. And then I could put the white across the top because that's kind of like sky. So that wouldn't be too bad. And then that can become the part where the zipper goes. How do I feel? How do I feel? A nice strip of this green would be nice too, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm okay with that, so that I can have a large enough pouch to match the back. Plus the flowers would then match the back. I probably would lose some sheep heads and some flowers along the way, but it'll be okay. Cooking is also a craft, 100%, 100%. Plus, really, we're just a group of friends hanging out that like similar things. And if you're here, you already know that Robin rambles. Let's see how this looks. And once you put something on, if you don't like it,
You don't even have to seam rip sometimes. You can just like cut it off with a project like this. And just cut that whole thing off. And when you're making this, if you've ever made string blocks, remember your string blocks are ugly, or they tend to be a little ugly when you first start. And then as you go, it gets a little bit better. So let's say we wanted, I said 6.5. Let me put that there. Ooh, okay, let's move that up a little bit. Put that at 6. 6.5. So the green would go into the seam allowance, and I would get some flowers up there. So I think that's what I'll go with. Let me take the batting out. Come on, batting. Okay, would you guys like me to make a pouch, or would you like me to keep sewing scraps? I will go either way. I just wanted to make sure I had the ability to make a finished zipper pouch if you wanted to make the whole thing. I knew I would lose those pink flowers, but I kept the yellow ones. I'm just going to leave that like this because I'm going to quilt it. Oh, thank you so much, Audrey. That's very sweet. So if you don't need to see another, you don't need to see me sew the zipper pouch. I'm just going to keep going like this. Let me make sure. Okay. Excuse me while I reach either way. Okay. Then I'm just going to keep doing this because sewing the zipper pouch, if you notice, I haven't even been doing it in the videos very much just because, you know, I got lost. I lost track because I looked at something pretty. I don't know how my patrons feel when I show what they're going to see today, but they didn't get to see me sew a zipper pouch either. I am in love with these pouches. They are, in my opinion, they turned out beautifully. I think they're so pretty. So we had acorn blocks that we made earlier here in Arizona, I'm pretty sure. And I turned those 6.5-inch blocks. You're still afraid of zippers? Audrey, I think you need a buddy. You need someone to come out and hang out with you and kind of motivate you. Oops, you can't see very well. Hold on. And help you motivate if you want to do zippers. Nobody has to do zippers, right? So I made these. I was really grateful that I still had more gray fabric. And then I had this fabric on the back for both of them. These are going to be listed in the shop tomorrow. And then I just used this gold splattered fabric on the inside. I don't have a use for zipper pouches, but I gotta say, I would definitely keep one of these. And my little label, the new labels I have, just fit in that 1.5-inch spot perfectly. And I just love the way they came out. So those are gonna be in the shop. I told you I'm in the mood to just sew zipper pouches. So this one, I'm just, I have a mess everywhere, but if I'm careful, just spritz a little of the spray on there. I think what I needed to do, Audrey, I'd never tell you what to do, but one of the things that I needed to do when I first started making zippers, I'm going to go press this over here. I just made zipper pouches. I did not use any of my good fabric. I just used regular old fabric. I had zippers that I found at the thrift store for, like a dime or something like that. And when they didn't turn out quite right, I just used them for coin pouches for myself. And then I kept going. So this will be quilted. And I think for this, I'll just quilt right here on the rows. I could still crosshatch it. I would use a light green on this one. So I'll put that over here. And so that's the outside and that's the back. Oh, thank you. Zippers are scary, but you know what? So's cutting vegetables with a knife. If you sew a zipper in, as long as you don't sew over your fingers, it's not dangerous. The worst thing that's going to happen is you make something and give it to your grandkids because it has a hole in it. Or you can seam rip it and take the zipper out and do it again. Just don't use your favoriteest, most expensive, bestest fabric until you got a handle on it and you know exactly what you're doing. Let's put this over here now so we can see it. That way, for me, I do it that way because I feel like if I mess it up and it's not usable, I've wasted money. But if I use just whatever, Dollar Bin, Dollar Tree, Walmart, where's my drink? Walmart special fabric or something, then it's not a big deal if I've wasted it. Plus, you can, if you just do like fusible fleece or batting, you can take that piece off and use it as a coaster. So if you're like, the zipper is just crappy, I didn't do a good job, the zipper came off the teeth, I don't know, I really messed it up, it's not usable. Take it all apart, either make a smaller pouch or make a coaster out of it. It takes practice. You're not going to be perfect the very first time. You remember when you started cooking? For those of us that are ladies that are married to husbands, my husband and I kept cereal in the house when we first got together. I knew how to cook, basic ideas, but I started cooking different things. So we were melding his family recipes with mine. And sometimes we just threw away the food and ate cereal for dinner or eggs for dinner. So sometimes you just have to make something and don't make something for someone's birthday tomorrow. Because that's too much pressure. Just make something and don't tell anyone you're making it unless you have a cheerleader that's going to be rah, rah, rah. Oh, this might be fun all green. I think I kind of like that idea. If you have someone that's going to cheer you on and, help motivate you and stuff, then, that's a good thing. Do we have any other ones? Oh, there's only one upside down. I don't want to turn the sheep upside down. Do we have sheep going round and round? You turn me right round, baby, right and round. See, I never remember all the words to songs, but they are fun. Hold on. We're getting there. Right. Look at that. Okay, it doesn't fit. It's not perfect. But if we do this, then we have, sometimes you can do I think I showed a video once doing curves where you lay the fabric down and then you just cut it, or like when you're frankenpiece and batting and you just cut the two batting strips together and then you have one line. That can work too. This is kind of how I make my fabric postcards. Just lay everything down and go from there. Okay, this is something I will play with by myself on my own. These are just simple. I could cut these into like squares and we can do a patchwork one. Okay, this guy and this guy can go together and hang out over there. These are scrappy bits. Sometimes you just have to move things out of the way. I have a keyboard cover over the keyboard part of my laptop so dust doesn't go in it. Normally I would never put stuff up there like that. These are my lining fabrics. That's going to be a future situation that we're not doing right now. Sometimes I like to take the lining fabrics and put it into my scrappy pouch in order to just bring everything in. So whatever's on the back comes to the front, whatever's on the inside. So this is about my zipper pouch, right? It is about 10 inches by about 7 inches. I wasn't 100%, zoned right in on numbers. The zipper pouch can be any size you want. I suggest starting with the zipper. You cannot make a 9-inch pouch if you have a 5-inch zipper. You can, but it's not like what we're making today. There's ways to work that. So if we have these guys, right? Let's see what we have. We have some green. We have the pink. Do we have, ooh, these guys? What do we have here? Let me see what I have. I'm trying to just use these scraps, but at the same time, I kind of want to, you know, I can bring in scraps from outside of this collection. I don't have to only use this fabric. I try to challenge myself to only use the fabric, but I have a green bin, and if I can find a green solid that's just kind of similar to that. Oh, this one might be fun. And let's see, dogs, no, we don't match sheeps with dogs. And everything is such a different color. So this is grass. And then we have the sheepies on it. We can do that. I'm sorry, I have the tripod set up in a different spot and I'm not even showing you guys what I'm looking at here. I'm such a rude host. Okay. I like this green because it's a lighter background like these backgrounds on the sheep. So I think I'm going to use this. And this is a Dollar Tree fat quarter. Sweetie, I didn't mean to wake you up from your nap. My apologies. I'm so used to working closer to the end of the table, edge of the table. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to sew these three together, trim them, and then put either that on the bottom or probably just the center of it. This is the leftovers from one of the fat quarters, so I can easily, let me see, do I want green in the center or pink in the center? Or blue in the center. I think I'll go that way. Because I'm working with my brother's sewing machine, because I'm coming up on, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're coming up on 8 weeks that the sewing machine shop has had my machine. Blue? Blue where? Blue on the bottom or blue on the top? Jackie, I need more than blue. Blue in the center. Gotcha. I'm getting there. I forget what I say. It's okay. I'm allowed. So they still have my sewing machine. Replacing it would definitely be more than $25. There's no need to replace it. I'm at the point where I don't even care. Did you fix it? Yes, no, whatever. Just give me my machine back. I'm sure it's not as clean as I think it is, but I think I do a pretty good job. I actually take bits apart that they say I can take apart when you see videos online and stuff. I don't know. It's easier when, for you, if you struggle with scraps, it's easier when you have larger pieces like this to kind of play with the scraps. And you see how I'm playing with the same thread line, fabric line, so that I know it's all going to match either by theme or by color. So for those of you that are struggling with your scraps, this is one way that you can do it. Or you can just sell your scraps or give them to a friend and let them figure it out. Because sometimes you just want to walk away. Like if you've worked with that. Some of you have sent me fabric. You're like, I've made 3 quilts with this and I can't look at it anymore. Please take my scraps. I'm like, thank you very much. I will play with your fabrics. I enjoy this. I could do this without feeling any creative burnout. 100%. Yeah, there was something about it that the blue just kind of looked nice in the center. Blue and pink look good together. And that will give me just past 9.5 inches. I'm not going for an exact. I'm just trying to have something that's close. And I really think that light is better. I don't want to cut into this like that, but at the same time, it's going to work for the fabric to the project, and I don't want to be like, oh, I can't use that 2 inches. I don't want to. What'll I do with the rest? I've ruined it. But I haven't ruined it. And while I can't get this fabric again, I can get something, right? Sometimes I just have to talk to myself that way to make sure that, okay, let me double check. 2 inches, seam allowance. I'm going to go a little bit more. I tell myself, I was raised as a hoarder. I lived with my grandmother and my grandfather on my father's side for, let's see, from age 2 to age 13. And my grandmother was a hoarder. She saved, not a hoarder like you see in the TV shows and everything, but she saved everything. And there was reasons for it. And she taught me the reasons. And then I shared that with my kids. And sometimes I just can't stop saving certain things. I tell you, every time I get rid of something, I'm always like, oh, I wish I had kept that. I could use that right now, type of thing. We do that with crafters. We save so many things, and then we're like, oh, darn it. I just got rid of that last week. I held on to it for 6 years, and I swear, every time I get rid of it, that's exactly when something. Not having my own home and getting rid of so many things to move here to Arizona across country, it was not worth it to bring things, and I was kind of depressed and I had an attitude problem, so I just got rid of tons of stuff. And then we get here and the kids are like, hey Mom, do you have I'm like, yeah, I know exactly where it is in the garage in Florida, but I didn't bring it. I didn't bring I brought all the random screws, but I didn't bring the random pieces of wood or PVC pipe. Because when you own a home or you stay somewhere for a long time, you guys know, you collect things. You have leftovers, you have scraps from working on the house just like we do with our projects here, right? Oh look, it's so delayed I could see the fabric going through. That was kind of cool. So I'm starting to rebuild what we used to have in order to, have stuff again. Ta-da! There's number 2. I like this one's fun. And I don't think this is too scrappy. Like, it's not like the Halloween one and stuff and the autumnal ones that I made before. I think this is a cute scrappy. And it's bigger pieces than I usually work with. But that could just be me. We all don't like the same things. But you can change things up to your own style, right? Oh, my nose is itching. Excuse me. It was $11. I've been able to get it for $7 occasionally by buying it like at Walmart and stuff. It makes it such a difference for my projects. They stay flatter when I quilt them. It doesn't smell too bad. It doesn't smell at all to me. And it really works well, but I can't imagine doing a whole quilt with it. I bet you it'd take at least a can or 2. Let me give it a nice press. Now this one, I don't know. If I were just hanging out by myself and doing these as I went, I would probably quilt these in their own colors going straight down. And then I would add the green on and I would quilt the green this way. Kind of like when I do the tote bags and stuff. Okay, so that's pouch 1. And pouch 2. So I did get the tripod. I did get the handheld tripod thingy that allows my phone. No matter how much you move your hand, the phone stays perfectly still. So it's for people that go on like hikes and walks and stuff like that. I just need to figure out which tripod I can put it on because it has that screw-in attachment. So then maybe I can put it somewhere here. I would like to pull the table off the wall and put something like over there, because that would allow you to see more of the table and see what's going on more. And then, there wouldn't be like these dead zones. I'll do better. I try to do better each time, but I keep fixing one thing and something else happens. Where's my batting? There it is. Here's number 3. So this is what's left here. I have all of these bits left. And this is my fabric. So let me move up here where you can actually see. And it's time, I think, to spin my cutting board around, because as you can see, it's really kind of marked up a lot. I am getting some grooves, and I noticed that the rotary cutter is actually feeling dull. It's not cutting all the way through on just one piece of fabric. And a worn out cutting mat will dull your rotary cutter faster. The thinking, the thinking, the thinking. I thought that was a bug on my hand. See, rotary cutter didn't cut all the way through. Oh my goodness, it was scary. Oh, Jackie, that's fun. We brought one of those metal rack shelves garage thingies with us. The kids bought it, and it has the metal rods going up, but it has wood on the shelves. And we have all of our tools out there. We have like all the glass mason jars. And on the top, I just threw all of those empty boxes that you have to save for like the sewing machine. There's air mattresses up there. So it would be nice to have more shelves, but as a renter, we would have to buy shelves versus building them. I've always wanted a garage that had like kitchen cabinets all around so that you can store things in the cabinets, close the doors, and the garage looks clean. Right now, it's not bad. There's that shelf, all my clear bins in my car, and the trash cans. So it's organized. It's not messy. Little secret, my kids love a messy garage. For them, throw it in the garage. You don't see it anymore. It doesn't matter. I'm like, okay, I get it. I've had that garage. My father would be very upset if I had that garage because his was always so organized. All right, we can't have 2 blue. That's just like the law. It's the law. What do we have for flowers? I almost want to cut everything into 2.5-inch squares. Or what size is this? This is almost a 3.5-inch square. Make a patchwork one. I think this one's my favorite. It reminds me of like a movie thing, or the Andy Air Hall, you know who I mean, the one that did like the Campbell's soup and stuff. It's just this color, even though it's not the same green, I think it just works really well together. But I kind of want to just get these used up, and I like this. This is my favorite green. Lisa's talking about enclosing the carport. I would 100%. Close it in and use it as a garage, right? Or I've seen people close it in and use it as like a screened in, we called it a Florida room, but it's a screened in porch. It all depends on what side of the house, north, south, east, and west it's on and stuff like. Andy Warhol. Thank you. I knew someone would know. Andy Warhol. That's crazy. I think that's a really good idea. So I can lose the sheep. You know, he's underneath there. Because either way, you're going to lose that black sheep. But if I try to put something over there, I would lose that sheep also. Let's put you here. Tuck you under. See what we can get here. Come on. The batting sticks so well to fabric because it's cotton. No. You know what? Sometimes you just have to do what you have to do, right? And sometimes you just have to do that. And once you do it, it's done. This cannot be fixed. I mean, I could put fusible interfacing behind it, but no, it can't be fixed. I want to make another one of these, is what I'm saying. So let's put the pink there. Oh, you know what? It's going to happen. Shh, don't tell Robin. Boom. What's done is done. What is done is done. So if I put these here, can't close that up. I would like to have flowers going across the top. I wonder if I can piece enough flowers together. See, this is, someone was saying, can you sew it on? I can sew things on a slant. You mean like these pieces and stuff? If the problem with this is with the sheep, I can, if I were to sew like this, because they're all at that same, we're just going to make up a 60-degree angle, I would end up with the hexagon thing. So I could do that, but that's not going to work for this pouch, and especially with the sheep, because of the directional thing with them going. It really kind of changes things up. I don't know if I said hi, but hi, Susan. I think you've been here from early on. My apologies if I miss anybody. So let me see if I have a big enough piece like this one. I need a smaller ruler. Come on, leash. Everything's within reach. It's just how many steps away. Okay. So these are basically-ish 3.5. So if I put my 3.5 on, I can't get 3.5 out of these. But I could sew them together to make 3.5, right? It's a puzzle. It's just a puzzle, and how are you going to work the puzzle? I'm just going to sew some things together, and we'll see what happens. And I'll apologize again if I'm out of the view when I was playing with those scraps right there. I do like to take some of those longer threads off. They do irk me a little bit. Press my seam, press it open. And we're just kind of franken-piece. I'd like, if I can get the green guys to go all along the bottom, and I can have the blue ones. Let's see what this size is. 3.5 by 3. So if I can put this like that across the top, right? And then if I can sew enough of these together to keep them straight, but also to fill in the space. So if this went like this, all right, first of all, we need to cut off the top. Multiple rulers, watch all your fabrics. Take that off. Let's cut this guy down. Well, I keep that little black sheep in there. That'll be nice. And anything left over will go into a fabric postcard. That just makes it easier, right? So if I try to keep a straight edge on the top, here's my other pieces. Because even the white fabric with the flowers, I can just cut around some of the white off and put it towards a fabric postcard. And I have this. I mean, I can cut into this, but this is a nice size piece. I could take like right here off and use those bits, but I kind of want to do the best I can to keep that. Just watching my seam allowance. Oops, someone came home. There's such a good seal on this house that, especially in the summertime with the AC running, if someone comes in and out of the house, you can really hear it because you can, you hear the doors really well. I know this is crazy piecing like this and piecing all of these little bits. It's kind of like crumb quilting with only one fabric. I'm out of water in my iron. See, these irons just run out of water so fast because they're staying hot and I guess steaming on their own. Plus, I really like that steam button. I hit it an awful lot. Okay, so now, how about flowers on both or on one side? Flowers on here, I have flowers, you mean if on the pouch, I have flowers for the back. This one I was just trying to do all sheep, and with that bit there, I might be able to sew that on, and that'll cover up, for that little bit right there. So if I figure out where it needs to be, right? So this, if I put this piece over this one, and this is where that seam is, right? So let me move all my hands out of the way. Here's my seam. This is where I need it to end up, so I can take it and just flip it over, and then hopefully when I sew right there. No, the flowers don't have cute faces, do they? They do have sporadic little bees on it, but the bees ended up in a not fun spot. So this is going to give me, I'll do a little bit of a scant 1/4 of an inch just to make sure. And it's not a quilt, and quilts have scant 1/4 inches. So I don't feel bad doing it. I just always feel like I've done, I'm such a, not a goody-goody, but I don't want to be judged, I think that's always part of, I've been judged so many times over the years that it kind of stays with me. And I know nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to know, right? That thing, nobody will know. They'll know. And then, because I have all of this extra, I'll just carefully with a ruler trim those bits off, throw them away, not using them. And now hopefully, so now when I have this, I just have these 2 little triangles here. So let me bring this up close so you can see. There's a bar in the middle of my phone so I can't see. So you have this little piece that I just tucked in, so it's grass on grass. And then I have those seams. Now all the sheepies are going in the right directions. And now I just need to have little bits on the side. Now I have some little bits here. That one, remember I'm going to trim the pouch down still. So it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. But I have that little bit I can kind of sew on there. Let me see what happens if yeah, that'll work. And then over here, I'm just trying to use the little bits so I don't have to, cut into something new. And then I could put that piece on there. Now, can you see the whole pouch? So I'll finish this green bit, and then I'll have to sew. You stay over there. This one will go like this. We are really kind of making it up as we go, aren't we? And if I worry about the seams, I might choose to do a little bit heavier quilting to just make sure that everything, you know, is going to stay in place. Let me move this down a little bit there. Seam allowances. And then put a crease right along. I folded and put a crease right along there. It'll give me an idea of, if I line those two creases up, those two folds, and then stitch. Whoa, don't stitch through the whole project, Robin. My goodness, crazy lady. Yeah, sometimes the extra quilting, thank you, sometimes the extra quilting just has to, you know, hold everything together. I mean, my seams are fine. I'm not worried about it. A pouch is going to get used, but it's not going to be washed a bunch. I'm just taking threads and stuff off. It's not going to be washed a bunch like a quilt and dragged around and loved. So we can usually get away with kind of piecing with a little bit of a smaller seam allowance. I'm sure this has got some like a trapezoid name to it or something, but it's darn cord. Let's move you out of the way. Move all of this into a corner. And then that's pretty good. I will need to trim. I didn't move the piece up far enough, but I think I'll still be okay. So I need to sew these three together. See, this is the leash that I'm tripping over while sewing. Let me put that there. Something like this, I don't know that I could do it quilt as you go like I've shown in the past, but it's a little bit easier to do if it's pieced first then quilted. It can be done, but you don't have to always do something. That's why we have the knowledge of different techniques and different styles, and we can go ahead and try different things and mix them together. Now, I'm making 3 zipper pouches, and we've been here like an hour, let's say an hour and a half. And I've pretty much made 3 fronts of the pouches. Yes, this style takes longer. That's why I have to charge a little bit extra compared to just 2 pieces of fabric, one on the front and one on the back. But I feel like it's the fabrics themselves aren't one of a kind, but the way I'm putting them together creates a one-of-a-kind pouch. And I think sometimes, well, I know for me, it's worth the time, and effort to do it this way. I just trim off just a smidge to make it work. And then I have that. So I'll put this on top of there. You know who we're missing today? I haven't seen Giovanna. I hope she's doing well. I know they tend to have weather problems and stuff where she lives, so I hope she's okay. She's probably, well, it's nighttime for her, so maybe she's eating dinner or she's hanging out in a different live stream. We'll catch her on the replay. I know she's posted a comment recently, so hopefully she's doing good. Sometimes I notice, I know, we all want to be noticed right away. Sometimes I notice when you guys aren't around for a while, and other times it takes me a minute, and I'm like, wait, I haven't heard from so-and-so. So I hope everyone that we haven't heard from in a while is doing well. I am not the only channel in the world to watch. What do you think? I think it adds a little bit to it, right? Thank you. I think it adds a little bit to it. And I really like these pastel colors on the back. See, I don't have to have bright all the time. I always say I like Crayola. I like the colors, really the smaller boxes of Crayola. I like certain greens. I don't always go after like a neon green or a yellow green. I just like grass green. I just like the basics. So that gives us this pouch, and I can give this a little spray. Now I will have to clean my mat because I don't have a protective thing down. Hi, Lee Allen. She's always here, yeah. I hope she's doing well. Last time she was running late, she was doing something. She wasn't on a live stream. She said she was doing something with family. Giovanna is one of our jokesters. I haven't heard from Jody, so Jody must be doing something with family. And I know Sue Smith, she's hanging with her kids. They're doing some type of a dog race thing or whatever she went to with her kids. You know, when we get to a certain age, anytime our kids say, hey, you want to come hang out? We have to say yes, because they don't ask us as much anymore when they have like their own families. I am just trimming anything extra past the batting just to not look at it. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Let's put these like this. Now I have this pile of fabric to play with. We normally do really long live streams. I think I'm going to cut it here today so that everyone on the replay has something a little bit short. And then I can work on these pouches. If anyone wants to call dibs on these, just let me know. I think I'm just going to crosshatch quilt all of them. And I will find a very pale color. Let me show you some of the things I got. I've been using that bro thread that a lot of people were talking about. And I bought the pastel colors, and I think they're just really nice. They are 100% cotton. I don't know the strength. You like this one the best? That one is good. I like this one too. I think these two are my favorite, and I think this one is fine. I think maybe this last one at the top, that white and gray, might have been not a mistake. I just think it's really light in color. But once it's all quilted and there's seam allowances and stuff, a lot of that will just disappear. And if I really was bothered by it, I could remove it, or I can make a smaller pouch. But yeah, I do like this one, and tucking those little pieces in because it's just green grass and there's no bits of sheep in those little triangles. I don't think there's any problem with it, right? And I have the legs up here that are kind of a little off, but again, I'm going to trim it after quilting it, and then the seam allowance. But I bought these threads, and I use these. I haven't used all of them as they're not open yet, but I use these a lot because it's bro thread, like brother, but BRO thread. I'll double check the Amazon wish list when I'm done, and I'll make sure it's there, but I think I put it on. I like the blue and pink one. This one. Yeah, this one seems to be a favorite. Oh, we can pick out zippers before we go. Yeah, so it's BRO thread, and they have different weights and like cotton, polyester and stuff. And this is the same ones that I had for the glow in the dark, but that was an embroidery thread, which is why I think that was the mistake of choosing that one. I received it as a gift, and if I have to really pile it on like embroidery, because that just goes over and over and over again, and then it glows, but it doesn't glow on its own. I still use it. It's still a usable thread. But this is, let me see what it says. It's 100% cotton, and it's 30 weight, and I sew at 50 weight. So I find that this works out really great for quilting when I don't want it to be like in your face. So for these, I really don't want the thread to stick out. So I have, let me see if I have pink or green, because there was a whole big bundle of them. you know what? Let's just do this because Robin's known to be crazy, right? We'll put this guy on the top since he's the favorite. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16 of them. And I think it was within, I don't want to tell you exactly what the price is because I don't remember. It could have been $29. It could have been $18. I usually wait until things go on sale on Amazon. But I find that a lot of these pastels work out really well. Like this one's a very light yellow. So I could use that. And that might work. I do have that pink on the back. So I do have a pink here. These are more of the bluer green than just blue. I do have a very pale blue in my other thread. I use 3 or 4 different brands to get all the colors I want because I love to switch up colors. I have used 15 colors on a tote bag before quilting it, and I don't care because I like to match the colors with the fabric. And this allows me to do it. And this is one of the reasons why I've been having to pull out my thread winder, the little sidekick machine. Every time I need a new one of these, I have to get a new bobbin. So I'm not sure any of those colors will work. And remember, this is the, I'm leaning towards this one for the lining fabric. I have that option. This is a Lori Holt. I'm really loving the Lori Holt fabric lately. And this one is just an off color that I don't care for. But I store my thread. These are all in a drawer. But I store my thread in these containers. So let me see what I have. This is the Missouri Star Quilt Company container. And I can usually find something in here because for these, I've been picking a lot of the lighter colors. Like this one here. This one is Sunset Gray. But it's kind of purpley. So I've been using this actually as a purple. This green is kind of nice. That might work. I mean, I can always use white. I have this yellow. This one's paler, so that would be a better bet. And then in my connecting threads, essential threads, this is where I use the pale pink. I might just use the pale pink, but I don't know how it'll be on the green. So I don't have too many pale. I did receive this set as a gift, and it has the paler colors. Oh, right there, right there. Hold on. I don't know if I have enough, but that's like the perfect color green. It's nice and pale. I could always put a different color in the bobbin. Like if I have another palish green, I could put that in the bobbin, or a white. That might work. But that's a worry for after lunch. I can't make a decision on what to eat for lunch either. But yeah, I've been liking these, and I just take the thread and I will pull it off the spool, and I do the trick where you lay it on the colors. Like this would actually work, because when I lay it on across the colors, if it kind of blends in and disappears, then that's the color I go with. I learned that a long time ago. I learned so much from Susan B. Anderson. Oh, look at that. I can see it right there. This might be the one I go with. And it's a 30 weight, but it doesn't need to be heavy duty. It's quilting a zipper pouch. You can only put so much weight in a zipper pouch, and there's no handle, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. Oh, let's get zippers. Zippers. I know I ask you guys for your opinion, and sometimes I just do what I want, but that's mostly because I can see the items in front of me a little bit better than you might be able to looking through your screen, because I'm seeing the actual colors, and you know, every monitor can be something different. So let's leave him over here so I know which one I want. I have my baggies of zippers. These are bright rainbow colors and pastels, so I'm thinking we need the pastels. These are going to be 9.5, 9 inches thereabouts, and these are 14-inch zippers, but I don't have anything in between. So I have like a pale blue, a pale green. This one won't matter as much because it's going to have the white on the front and the white on the back. But these have the pinks and blues and greens going across the top. So I think that is going to matter. Like, do I want green going across it or do I want blue? I think my whites are really large. So that would be a bit wasteful to use those. There's a paler green and then a yellow. So if I'm stuck between two, I can, I have 3 pouches. I can use 2 different ones. The pale, this green one there, yeah, I'm thinking so too. Sometimes in the bag it looks a different color and then I pull it out and it's the same. So these are the colors that I'm dealing with. I get so excited when I can use one of these in a project. I think, let me pull these all off. Because, like this one has green on the bottom, I think the green works well on that. And then we have this one, and it does have green on the bottom, so I can pull, oh, that's not the same color green. Hold on. See, that green is, it's more of a light pale olive. Oh my goodness, you mean I don't have any other of that green? I have this color green. All right, let's see if we have anything in here. Aha. No. No. Why does it look lighter in my bag against all the other colors until I pull it out? Okay, so wait. There's 2. I'm almost to the point where I probably should sort these by color now. I think we might end up with an oddball yellow. All right, guys, crazy time. Here we go. Yeah, I have a pink. I have like that. I think that's too dark. Because it has pink on this one, I can do pink on that. And those 2 can have green. Sold. I just have to do some sorting here and change some of these up. Maybe, because sometimes when I order them in bulk, this one's a really pretty blue, but I don't think it'll go. They have a range. I just ask for multiple colors. And it comes in like, what about that green? No. It comes in like a variety of colors. And sometimes even though it's supposed to be like, I do have a white. I have 1 white. Should we do pink or white or yellow? So these 2 are going to be green. And this last one, hope I can't see a word you're saying. A light blue? Hold on, I lost zippers. Zippers overflow. I have this blue. This would work, right? It matches that blue. Because this is blue, green, pink. And then here's the pink. And then white. Pink? Y'all like pink? Boy, it's a shame that there's not another one of those greens. And then yellow. 1, 2, 3 pink. Blue, pink, blue, 1. All right, so we're going to go with pink then. And then I will match the tassel usually to the zipper color and go with that. So there's a thumbnail for you. Oh, wait, hold on. This one, we have this one. And then, should I put the pink or the green on this one? The one with the two blues, go with the blue zipper. Because I forgot about this guy. I think this one will probably just need the plain white one, right? To go with the flowers. Okay, the two blue ones. Let's look. See, it's always a thing, right? So here's the two blue with the blue. Do we like that? We like the pink. So we have this one, right? And then we have the white with the flowers, because it'll be white on the back and white on the front, so when you look straight down, it'll be good. And then we have this one with the green. Now I do have one more green, or did you want the blue on this one? Because of the two blue. So your last question, do you want blue on this one or green on that one? Blue to match those two blue squares. Uh-oh, two blue and a green. Majority rules. I think I like the blue. I think I'm with the blue people. Yeah, see, I think the blue. And when I pull the blue away and I put the green on there, because it changes because of the two fabrics, the fabrics on the top. And this would kind of go with that green, but I think the blue does look better. Yes to blue. Okay. So there's that. And again, I just have these bits left over. I do have some larger chunks here that I think I might be able to do a patchwork with this white fabric. And then I could always go into that big piece of green if I needed to. Maybe make, I don't know, some 2.5-inch squares. I like to fussy cut the flowers, the Blue Man Group. Okay, sold. Perfect, right? We're good. Those are the three. Where's my clips? Let me put clips on these so that even though they're not quilted, if the zippers have been chosen, there's that one. I think this next one is really just going to have to go to someone who just kind of fell in love with it and it's special. Because again, if I just made this one, we might have all fallen in love with it. But because we made the other ones, I think it really changes it up. And we like these better. It just worked with the fabric better, but we don't know until we try, right? Now, this isn't a pouch yet. I could still change my mind. And if you fall in love with this one, let me know. Otherwise, you know, we'll see. I'll probably quilt it up. Well, look, I'm going to quilt it up and put it in the shop. But if it doesn't sell right away, I won't be surprised. Because I think you have to fall in love with a certain thing. So I have these that I can turn into something. Like with all that white, I would want to fussy cut it. And then I have these bits that can become a fabric postcard. So let me move this. Get the good ones in the shot. Put that one up there. Then we have that one. And then we have this one over here. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I always appreciate the company when I'm trying to figure these things out. Let me show you the back again. So this will be the back. And And like something like this, I'll probably put it this way so the zipper is at the top and I'll lose most of the white on the bottom when I trim it up. Cross-hatched with the light pink thread. This, it's a different green, but I feel like I'm okay with it, but I have a feeling that I'm going to use this fabric from, gosh darn it, Riley Blake Designs, Lori Holt, Be in My Bonnet. I'm pretty sure this is Lori Holt without opening it up. So I'll put that one in the lining fabric, and I have my little tags. I really have been enjoying using the new ones, but I think because of the shape of the way the pouches are that I'll stick with this tag. You guys have been saying, yes, go ahead and put them on the front of your bags to show them off. And with something like this, I'll try to put it somewhere where I don't put it right on a sheepy face and then just set it in there. But when it comes time to reorder tags, I mean, I just bought them, right? When it comes time to reorder them, I trim this one down, but I really have been enjoying using that one. Like I showed on the acorn pouches. So for anyone that's been waiting, I'm going to spend tomorrow on the computer. And I have all of these pouches that need to be listed. So here it is again on there. I think it just turned out cute. So this is the cheater fabric. These two, I have everything photographed, I think. They just need to go into this. These are my absolute favorite. I do love these, but for autumn, I love the way these have turned out. The bee will go in. The wrist cuffs, I just need to go to Canva and do the little A, B, C, D so you can choose which one you want. So if anyone has spied something with their little eye that they absolutely love and must have, send me a message and I will list it for you. Otherwise, everything will go in the shop when it's all done. And I really appreciate your support and for hanging out with me. I hope you guys have a great weekend and make some fun soups. I'm doing beef stew, butternut squash soup. I bought a spaghetti squash. I love a spaghetti squash with turkey sausage with a little salt and pepper, and that's it for my meal right there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll see you guys on Wednesday, my patrons tomorrow, where I will show you how I figured this out and turn this into a zipper pouch. Bye everyone.